thank you very much. At the White House, let's expand the conversation. With me now, CNN Chief Local Analyst Gloria Borger and Eliza Collins, politics reporter for USA Today. Gloria, is the total Trump cave?
Well, yes. When you think about this could have been done weeks ago, that the Democrats have been talking about reopening the government, and then let's have a discussion about some kind of immigration reform. We'll do it that way. And the president said, no, 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 I need money for the wall. And he didn't get money for the wall today. What was striking to me was that the president somehow today, and my notes are not verbatim, but he did say that the Democrats have finally acknowledged that having barriers, walls, fences are some kind of important part of the solution. I haven't heard that from Democrats. They have in the past voted for certain kinds of barriers, as we know, but that's not a part of this new discussion. So I don't know where he's getting that from. And also, he hung out this notion that I'm hanging this emergency authority over your head, which, as you were discussing in the last segment, is very questionable legally. And that's, you know, that's an issue for conservatives as well, because a lot of conservatives think it's an abuse of presidential authority.
Yeah, as Carrie Cordero was pointing out, the clock is ticking on the viability of that. And it was Trump's phrase, I have a powerful alternative.
Yeah.
I won't use it now, ... So we'll see what happens in 3 weeks. Eliza, to you, right now, as everyone's reacting to this, apparently right-wing media is going off over this. How will the Sean Hannitys of the world defend Trump on this?
I don't know if they can. On my way over here, I was texting with a conservative who was close to the White House, and he said that this stabbed the base in the heart. I mean, this was Trump's biggest promise to the base. They really wanted it, and he's completely failed to do that, and he failed to do it to Nancy Pelosi, who is, of course, their favorite foe. So it's really interesting. I mean, at the Capitol, I talked to Senator Kevin Cramer, who is a Republican senator. He voted no yesterday on the Democratic bill, which was essentially the same thing, just a different date. And today said he would support this. And basically his reasoning was that the president was going to support it today. But I asked how he could defend it to the base, and he said there's no question the base is going to be upset. So I'm not sure how the Sean Hannitys of the world are able to defend it.
Stabbing the heart of the base, which is so much of what, as we've always discussed, matters so much to this president. You have these 800,000 or so federal workers. You have, of course, a lot of these contractors who won't be getting back pay. They're all like, you know, at least for some of them, when are we getting paid? That's still a big question mark. And Gloria, I go back to, again, 35 days this thing has gone on. You know, that he is not getting a penny for his wall. And I can't imagine that these federal workers are like, what was all this for?
Right,
and they're come of this.
Right, and they're also thinking, what's going to happen in 3 weeks?
Totally.
You know, we could be back at square one here in 3 weeks, and despite the president's homage to the strength of federal workers, which we have not heard a lot over the past 3 weeks from this president or his cabinet, he went out of his way to do that today. We know that the Democrats are not going to give on the wall, and that the president is going to be getting a lot of input from conservatives about how he messed this up. And so we don't know where we are going to be in 3 weeks. Maybe they will come up with some kind of a compromise that they couldn't get, but if that involves Dreamers, for example, we know where the Democrats are and we know where the president is, and they're never going to agree on that. Then the base would really get angry. So I'm trying to think in my mind, where do they go on this? Where can they go? And maybe the national emergency is the place they go, or the president goes, but that doesn't solve the issue either, because it winds up in court.
Eliza, who's the key maker to watch behind the scenes moving this whole thing forward?
I think we've got to watch Mitch McConnell. I mean, he stayed quiet for a really long time. In December, the Senate unanimously passed a bill very similar to this one, and the president said he wasn't going to sign it. And so McConnell basically said, all right, hands off, deal with the Democrats. And then we saw him come back on the scene this week. He held those 2 votes yesterday. One was the Democratic bill, very similar to this one. The other was the president's proposal. Both failed. The Democratic bill got a few more votes. They got 6 Republicans on their side. But McConnell, basically, people close to McConnell have said that that was a message. He was trying to say, look, neither work. We've got to come to the table. And then we saw real movement. So I think watching McConnell on this, of course, the Freedom Caucus, the conservatives have a lot of influence on the president. They were in the White House when President Trump decided he was going to shut down the government. So I think we need to be watching them on this. So far, they've stuck by him. Mark Meadows today was said, let's see how Democrats do in these next 3 weeks. But they are very tapped into the base. And so I think we need to be watching Mitch McConnell, who is sort of understands Congress very well and what deals can get done. And then the conservatives whispering in Trump's other ear to just play to his base.
I also think Lindsey Graham is somebody you need to watch
true.
because he's sort of the newest Trump whisperer, right? Took the words right out of my mouth. So he is. But don't forget, Lindsey Graham is somebody who way back in the day signed on to comprehensive immigration reform, has always been for it, which is not where the president is, but who has been talking about a compromise. And so I think he could end up being some kind of a go-between, but then again, he's not very popular with conservatives on this issue. But maybe he'll play a few rounds of golf with the president in Florida, and they can figure it out. I don't know.
Well, let's hope that is a game of golf that actually results in something here for everyone involved. Gloria and Eliza, ladies, thank you so much. In addition to the news with the government reopening for a hot minute here, we have the other huge story of the day involving Roger Stone. Now, the 6th associate of President Trump to be charged by special counsel Robert Mueller. We have reaction from the White House and what this means for President Trump